Hey, where are all my comic books?
Oh, those dreadful things. I gave those away.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman. Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way.
Is there a better way to start a show? This is Douglas Viviani. I'm here with David Cohen on Everything Old is New Again, our website, everythingoldisnewagain.biz. Feel free to like us or friend us on Facebook. Our email address is oldnewagain@aol.com, and we are here talking about comics. Who are these heroes, and why do we care?
And by the way, this show is sponsored by ResumeDoctorInc.com. When you're looking to change your career, apply for a promotion, or just trying to find a job, your resume is the first thing that's seen that represents you to a potential employer. So make sure your resume makes a clear, concise, and professional impression of who you are so you can get that job interview. Send your resume to ResumeDoctorInc.com for a free online review, and you'll receive a timely reply with a reasonable quote to properly prepare your resume. ResumeDoctorInc.com has over 15 years of experience in this field. Let them make sure you have a resume that will get you noticed. Email them at ResumeDoctorInc@AOL.com.
Beautiful. Dave, listen, as far as I'm concerned, comic book characters may not need a resume for all of us, but are characters that nonetheless have been ignored and underrated and underappreciated by our, at least, pop culture for quite some time.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think of the comic books, you think of the people that like them, and you think of all the geeky guys dressing up as superheroes, like on The Big Bang Theory. And I think today we're going to try to not dispel that notion, but basically tell people there's a broader audience, and it's more important, I think, to you and me anyway, than what might meet the eye.
I think
it's already actually to dispel that theory of nerdiness. The Comic-Con is huge. Everybody goes. Everybody and their mother, especially with all these Marvel movies coming out, all the superhero movies. They're the highest grossing movies that there are these days,
Absolutely. By the way, that's Mike Biddleman, our engineer. Thank you for joining in. And I agree with that people have finally caught on. But I would also suggest that they may not be there for the not say correct, but the reason that we're all there for. And let's face it, I want everyone to enjoy them, so I don't really care about why they're there. But in my world, comic book characters go back to ancient Greece, as far as I'm concerned, and they've been around forever in one form or another. If you look at Hercules, if you look at the Iliad and the Odyssey, and the Greek gods that we learn about through our years in college and high school and thereafter, if we have an interest in this topic, you see that they are certain beings that have supernatural powers and fool with and or intertwine with the human beings of the planet. Poseidon could be the modern day, Poseidon would be, let's say, Aquaman, or Ares, the god of war. You could analogize that to the Hulk. Zeus, who is the god of all the gods, could be analogized to Odin or Thor. So even if you look through the Middle Ages and you see Ivanhoe, and to me that's another character that is a comic book type of character. If we define comic book character, it basically would, in my world, would be someone that has an extraordinary power that maybe we would like to have, but also helps them solve some human foible or interesting problem that we can't solve ourselves at present.
No, absolutely. I remember as a kid, they just appealed to, I don't know, I guess my artistic side. I love the colors and the action and the artwork. And, it really inspired me having those superheroes sort of in my little childhood world, to make me want to help people like they did. That's kind of what I liked about them, that they were there to help. And it inspired me, I think, to want to take care of people too and make a name for myself by helping others. It sounds corny, but there's no doubt that they had something to do with that.
Absolutely. Certainly what we read and experience on television, in the movies, in literature, it certainly affects us. And that's the subject of today and this show here on Everything Old is New Again, 103.9 Long Island News Radio. We also experienced in the 60s something a little different. We experienced a nice take on this, in that these characters became fun when television finally approached the characters. Yeah. So let's take a look and see.
Holy complications, holy agility, holy blackout, holy missing relatives, holy sudden incapacitation, holy one-track back computer mind, holy standstills, holy Fourth Amendment, holy time bomb, holy non-sequiturs.
I don't think so, Robert.
Holy mucilage, holy diversionary tactics, holy heart failure, holy Gemini, it worked great.
Holy Everything Old is New Again.
Such a great clip. He must have had hundreds of them. Wow.
Going through that, I have to tell you, he did say holy something, of course, in every episode, and that, of course, is Robin in the Batman and Robin series of the 1960s. He said it probably 2 and 3 times.
Exactly.
It's still going on, as we can see. Yeah. So that set the tone for me, watching those shows, that, and of course Batman himself, and Superman, and that was on the television in the 60s. That was it. Followed by, of course, the Hulk in the 70s, and reading these comics. It was the first thing that was important was fun. It was fun to imagine what these characters are doing.
They always won. They always won the fight, and that's kind of what made it fun too, because you knew. As a kid anyway, you were never really that worried because you knew they were going to come out on top. Batman was going to kick somebody's, and Superman will, and Green Hornet, remember that?
Absolutely, Green Hornet.
You made that one recently. Yeah.
So these are a little feel for what we, at least, and I think you, the listener, enjoyed if you were around in the 60s, and if not, they're still on to this day. Then we took a little turn with what some people call the best comic book movie of all time, Spider-Man, which has a little more serious theme to it.
Whatever life holds in store for me, I will never forget these words. With great power comes great responsibility. This is my gift, my curse. Who am I? I'm Spider-Man.
Hate to tell you, does anybody have chills? That was that does hit home for me. That message.
You just like Tobey Maguire. Come on.
I don't know where to go with that. I did like him in that.
That'll be another show.
Yes, in Seabiscuit. Long story short, to me, that message resonates. And again, looking at this a little more cerebrally, the superpower that's talked about, at least in Spider-Man and most of Marvel comics, to me, represents talent, and all of us have our own individual talents. I think the struggle to find out as we're younger what is our talent. Number 2, to develop the talent as we mature, and then the decision whether we're going to use that talent or not is something that resonates for me, and I think the general public, and I think certainly when you look at the reluctant hero of the Marvel comic character, these characters have all of these powers, and you think that solves every problem they have. It doesn't. It creates most of the problems they have.
Right. I agree. And well, the thing about the fun part about comics too is you think about what would these superheroes do in the real world if there were no movies. You put these guys in today's setting. What would there be any use to them? I mean, we've got an army, we've got a relatively good police force. There are too many comic book heroes, not enough crime, as far as I'm concerned. So what happens to these guys? Any ideas?
Gee, I'll tell you, as far as I'm concerned, Professor X would be a tremendous psychic or a
reality TV star, one of those long-on medium shows.
Absolutely, yeah. He can read anyone's mind, make them do anything they want, and that's a heck of a talent. But I don't know if it'd make him too much money.
No, he might be on the street dealing 3-card Monte. That might be a good way to make him money.
There you go.
But what would perfect thing for the Flash? Get him into the Summer Olympics, represent our country, right? We'd win every gold medal.
I think you're right. That's a great one. That is a great one. I think that what we're seeing now is with Spider-Man. This topic, even believe it or not, has been approached by the U.S. Post Office. And Spider-Man and all the commercials are making deliveries of the mail.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So I don't know if that's something that's worthy of his talent, but maybe that's something he'd be doing.
But not all the superheroes would be good for certain jobs. For instance, look, we're getting on in years, and I know when I have my prostate checked, I certainly would not want to go to Dr. Wolverine. That would not be good. Bend over and oops, sorry.
We'll pick up this discussion on the other side.